Did you or did you not know that today's the day we've all been waiting for a very long time? Well, I have been anyway. Have you started to feel any different over the last year or so? Has your mind started to open a bit more than it has before? Have you ever wondered what Pluto in Aquarius means? If so, or if not, hold your phone. I'm so excited for this episode today. I'm excited, just excited about life today, because today's the day we've all been waiting for. Well, I have been. I'm not sure about you, but I've been waiting for this day for, well, not for a very long time, but today's the day that Pluto goes into Aquarius. Pluto was in Capricorn for the last 16 years. What does that mean? Well, Pluto is a planet of intensity, destruction, transformation, and rebirth. Okay. And when Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, remember that 2008 crash? Well, the planet of death, destruction, and transformation upended the world. And Capricorn, being material, fiscal, structural, hierarchies, top-down systems, and climbing to the top of them, climbing the corporate ladder. So Capricorn, all that money energy, held Pluto for 16 years. So Pluto was in Capricorn for 16 years. And it kind of makes sense if you relate the characteristics of Capricorn and Pluto and what happened in the world between 2008 and 2023. Technology kicked off, big companies opened up, lots of power, crazed the planet, and so on. I'm not an astrology expert, but I do have very reliable resources which I'll leave in the show notes. So, today is the day that Pluto enters the sign of Aquarius. What does that mean? Well, Aquarius, this means that exciting times are happening. This era will push us to finally fulfill our true passions, our vocations, and our dreams. It will help us to let go of anything fake, material, any money, anything that isn't our true, authentic self. We'll start to fall away and we'll embrace our potential and we'll remove our self-doubt and we'll wake the feck up if we haven't woken up already. And when I say wake up, I mean wake up to what is going on in the world, firstly. Really see through. Now, we already have a fair idea about what's going on in the world, but to really see through things, people, companies, governments, to really see through them. Now, let's try and do it with as little judgment as possible, because it just is. And I find that the more we come across things that aren't aligned with our values, the more we know what we want and what we don't want. So those things that we see that isn't something that we would do, not aligned with our values, we might have some judgment towards that. Well, we know that that's something that we don't want or don't want to do. So that's how I see things. That has a scale of intensity, to be honest. So that intensity scale can go right up or write down. But anyway, Pluto in Aquarius is named for the god of the underworld, the planet that brings collective issues to the surface that have been buried or bound. So today, the 19th of November, Pluto comes back into Aquarius. Now, it was there in 2003 for a little while, from like March to June, before it retrograded back into Capricorn from January to September. And now in November, Pluto's back again in Aquarius. So this just means shattering. Like, things are going to get messy for our highest good. So Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Is it 20 years or 18? 18, I think it might be 20 years. So this is not for the short run, this is the long run. And Aquarius is related to technology, electricity. It's related to new innovations, making breakthroughs. It's related to higher frequencies, like higher states of being. So we are basically just going to get all of that lovely Plutonian and Aquarius energy, and it's gonna feel good. The old structures, the elite, I don't want to say this with judgment, but I did come out with a bit of judgment there. Capitalism is going to crumble. Now, this is my wish. Maybe it's my wish, maybe it isn't. But this is what Pluto in Aquarius is saying. And apparently, the United States will experience its first Pluto return. So, power to the people, grassroots up, power, new money. What I've been hearing from my astrologers, my lovely Pam Gregory, I must send you her link, she's absolutely amazing, I love her. She's from the UK. Or we have Andrew Smith in Ireland, and there's a lovely American astrologist I listened to as well that I can't remember now, but I'll put it in the show notes. And they are all very aligned in what they're talking about, and I highly recommend listening to them because they know what they're talking about. I'm just like communicating the message, but they're the experts really. So I'm excited for you to explore a little bit more. Maybe if you have your birth chart, you might be able to see where Aquarius is in your birth chart. You can get a free birth chart online. My moon is in Aquarius. Would you believe? My moon in Aquarius means freedom, community, friendship, collaboration, self-expression, creativity, releasing old emotional patterns. We also are tapping into our inner wisdom. We're all waking up. We're waking the hell up to what is going on in this world and why we're here, what we're here for, what is happening, and hopefully with as little judgment as possible. So yes, are you one of those people who've started to question what's going on? Are you somebody who's already woken the hell up a long time ago and like you're just bored at this stage and you're ready to move to the next level human? Or are you one of those people who is feeling a little bit confused and uncomfortable and is going through an awful hard time? Please let me know which one of those you are. I'm here for you. Whichever one you are, I'm here for you, and I've been through it all. And I'm still going through it, so you're not alone. You're really not. Not only is this the most exciting time to be alive, but it's also the hardest time for a lot of people to be alive. Now, People have been through hard times throughout the histories, don't get me wrong. But, this is also a very hard time. So let's just, keep sending courage and bravery to those who need it. And to those who are in better situations and circumstances, let's make the most of our empowerment and step into the best version of ourselves, where we let go of those old conditionings, those past hurts and traumas and things that we have learned from, or we're still learning from, or we're trying to learn from. If you're somebody who is really lost, just let me know. We can have a chat. We could set up a call and have a chat, and I will guide you completely for free. Like, I'm not going to charge you to have a chat. This will of course be for free. I'll give you complete free guidance for us to have a chat to see what is going on and where your life might be. So I am so excited for us to talk about what this new energy is going to look like for us. There are different factors around the world that may lead you to believe that we're doomed, but this new energy is actually an opening for us to create our own lives and how we want to see the world and how we see the world. Because realistically, we all live in our own world. I live in my world. I see people how I see them. My perception of different things and different people is my world. And you have your world where you see things the way you see things. You have opinions of, we all have our own worlds. So how would we like to see our world? And my new thing, well, I've always kind of done this, but I feel that it's more empowered now, it's like stronger, is to imagine my world the way I want it to be. So without looking at the world and basing my world around facts, now I'm going to base my world around my imagination. And my imagination is this, that, every single person I know and the people I know and who they know are in their best health, they're stepping into their power, they are becoming self-empowered, relying on their own wisdom and their own way, and they're waking up to what is around them. They're able to discern exactly what's happening, and without any judgment. This new empowerment should come from a place of empowerment, not creating more anger, not creating more fear. It should be invoking bravery and courage. So when I say open our eyes to the world around us, we start to realize that certain associations or certain governments may not be for our highest good. And that's okay, because we can look a different direction. And we can now create a world where we don't have to rely on those sources that have seemed to let us down or aren't making decisions for our highest good. And we can now look a different direction where we rely on each other. We set up associations amongst the people. Please make up your own mind and let yourself go where your heart tells you and not where you feel like I might be suggesting. I'm just giving an example. So this new lovely energy gives us the opportunity to create our own reality. Now, we need to put logic aside. That logical part of ourselves, that analytical brain, the brain that says that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. we need to put that to the side. Okay, step into our right brain, our creative side of our brain, the part of our brain that we don't use enough. There's so much of our brain that we haven't tapped into yet, and now this new energy is going to allow us to be creative with our own worlds. And I would like to invite you to start imagining the life you want, and park the logic. Remember to park the logic, because the logical mind, that left brain, is going to come in and say, hey, stop, that's ridiculous. So I would like you to kindly request your left brain to pipe down a little bit, while your right brain, your lovely creative side, takes control and imagines how you'd like to be, imagines how you'd like to feel, imagines the life you'd like to lead. Every single detail down to the absolute finest. Your family, if anybody's in suffering right now at the moment, let's get our right brain into action, and our creativeness, our manifestation skills, and imagine those people fully healed. Now, one thing I would like to suggest is that anything that we imagine that is outside of ourselves, intend to imagine it for the good of everyone involved and for the good of them, for the highest good, for their highest good, and for the good of everyone involved, because we don't know what plan their life has. Okay. Imagine we see somebody who's ill and we imagine them healed for their highest good and for the highest good of all involved, which means that we're not interfering with their life's path. Now, look, logical mind might be trying to come in here now and say, what are you talking about? Just allow it to be creative. Let's imagine the world in peace and love, and nobody's suffering anymore, no matter who's in power or whatever. If there's somebody if you're a person who's a little bit, displeased with the way different elections have been run, let's imagine the person in power being the best president that has ever happened in the whole world, making the right decisions for the right people. And we live in a new world where we never even imagined, but now we're imagining it, and now it's coming true. So let's just put that into imagination. Let's imagine everything good, everything amazing, for everyone's highest good, its highest good, and just watch miracles happen. Look, I've been practicing this for the last 20 years, where my imagination has led to my reality creation, and it's getting more and more powerful. Another thing that we can imagine, I always remember my mom telling me, when you see an ambulance, always send your angels, always send the healing angels to the ambulance to help whoever's in the ambulance be okay. And now I cannot let an ambulance pass me by without sending the angels with the ambulance to help them be okay. Let everything be okay. Let everything work out for the best for their highest good. And I was listening to another thing that I can't do, and I always imagine before I go to bed, before I go to sleep, I cannot go to sleep without imagining all of my family, friends, my boyfriend's family and friends, especially my nephews, my cousins, my aunties, my uncles, everyone I know, everyone they know, to be protected, to be healthy, happy, protected, full of wealth, health, happiness, prosperity. And I just have this like ritual where I imagine everyone to be at their best health. And then I go to sleep. And another imaginary thing I do that I've only started to do is from a podcast that I heard the other day, and I'll put the link in the show notes. It's about this man who basically, he's so lovely. This is such a lovely podcast. But it's about this guy who basically trained with the higher masters, and he says, oh my god, this is amazing. He says in his podcast that despite whoever has won the elections in a certain country, he has imagined that person acting in the highest good and sending light to him. And then the next day in his meditation, this person's higher self pops in and says, can you do that again? So we have so much power in our imagination. This isn't new information, by the way. This goes back to as long as humanity exists. This is in every indigenous, this is, if not all, but most indigenous practices, native tribes, Indian culture. Our thoughts have a massive effect can have a massive effect on other people's reality. So it's really, really important to be careful with our words and our imagination and, those stories we create in our head. Be careful with those, because our those now more than ever before has such a huge impact. And especially with shamanism, where you call back your power. If you have like energy entangled with somebody else, we can cut those cords, we can cut the energy. Like we have a contract. Every person we come in contact with basically opens up a contract. If I speak to somebody and they're willing to speak with me, well then we have a connection. And those thoughts that I have around those people can have an effect on their lives, can have an effect on their energetic bodies, which can affect their lives and them to me. So if we're calling back our power, and we can lose a bit of our power if somebody is speaking badly about us, or we're speaking badly about somebody else, we can drain them of their empowerment. So it's really important to speak highly of people, even if you're joking. If we can't even joke, we really can't joke. And if we do joke, we need to say, I didn't mean that, I take it back, I'm sending her love and care, and to just make sure that we're not draining their power. So, and you can navigate this through the emotions you feel. If you're having a conversation with somebody about somebody else and you feel a bit icky in your stomach, you're not feeling good about the conversation that's happening about somebody else, listen to that feeling, because that feeling is usually connected to one of our energy centers, generally our solar plexus chakra, which is our empowerment. And that it's because we're taking the other person's empowerment away, and that is a reflection of the energy entanglement that we are connected to. So be careful. Try and be careful as much as you can with your words about others. And maybe we need to just be careful about what we say about the world. The world, regardless of its actual situation, it is going through a transformation. It's going through a purge. It's like when something needs to hit rock bottom before it comes back up again. Yes, but we can word it differently. So I went off what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that I listened to this lovely, lovely podcast about this guy, and he was saying every time he passes a hospital, He sends all the healing angels into the hospital to help whoever needs help at that time. You can save lives by doing that. You literally can. Because some people don't know how to ask for help. Do you know? There are a lot of people out there in the world who don't believe in anything else past this human body. And that's okay. No judgment here. But they don't know that they can reach out for help. They can ask their guides and their angels to help them. It's something they don't believe in. So, if we send help to the people who need it for their highest good now, that's important. We might be able to save somebody's life. Now, I can hear your logical mind coming in and saying, Sarah, that's ridiculous. Look your logical mind in the eye and say, get back into that box there now for a minute, while we're exploring our imagination and our creativity, and allow us to explore. And if it resonates, if you feel in your heart that this feels good, well then that's you're using your heart as your wisdom. Because our minds don't have any wisdom. Our mind doesn't have any wisdom. Our wisdom comes from our heart and our third eye chakra, which is connected to just in between our eyebrows. That is our energy center where we receive information through there. But our heart needs to be open. We need to get that good feeling before we get the information through our third eye chakra. So everything, if it feels good in your heart, go with it. If you get that good feeling in your heart, go with it. If you get that bad feeling in your stomach, don't go with it. But we can't logically, you can logically build a building. You can logically make decisions based on calculations. But if you want to use your intuition, your highest guidance, it needs to come from your heart. So, if you feel in your heart that you can help somebody's life by sending them guidance and angels and healing energy from the universe, whatever you want to call it, you can be creative here and create your own empowering energy and send that to somebody else for their highest good and for the highest good of all involved. And you can make a massive difference in the world. So there you go. So now every time I'm going to pass in the hospital, I send them all the healing angels for their highest good, the highest good of all involved. We can't make anybody do anything. We can only allow them to find their own path, their own way. And if they're open to receiving information, well, that's just brilliant. But we can't push it onto people like I've been trying to do to my boyfriend. I just wish. I suppose he needs to be the grounded person in our lives, doesn't he? Otherwise I'll just float away. Thank you for your open ears for the last 30 minutes. And maybe your open heart. And hopefully a spark in creativity and inspiration. But if not, that's absolutely okay. Remember, take on what resonates, discard what doesn't. But I must let you know one thing. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but at the beginning of this episode, it's completely different to the middle of the episode, because when I went for a nap today, I set an intention to open up all my chakras, connect to my higher self, my guides and my angels, in order to receive any information they think is necessary. And then I tried to go to sleep. And then the information started flowing. because I got myself into that theta brainwave state, and I was like, well, I might as well start recording on my phone. So the quality isn't the best, but it worked. And that was just an example of tapping into our inner wisdom through our heart, through a meditative brainwave state, and accessing just the information, any information we want, we can access. Just have to set the intention, prepare our energy, and tap in. So there you go. And that's why I sounded a little bit sleepy. So thank you so much again, from the bottom of my heart to the tips of my toes, the top of my head. I wish you a wonderful, insightful, heart-opening week, and I'll see you soon. Take care.